Good day, everyone. My topic for today is all about RA 10665 or Open High School System Act. But before that, I am Paula Carmelo Yupumatus, a second year Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics. Objectives. At the end of my report, the audience will able to K. Learn about the definition of RA 10665. S. Expound and elaborate RA 10665. And A. Apply the importance of the RA 10665. RA 10665 objectives provides opportunity to all elementary graduates, high school dropouts, and successful examinees of the Philippine Educational Placement Test or PEPT to complete secondary education. Second, prevent potential school leavers and encourages those who are out of school to finish secondary education. And third, reduces high school dropouts and increases participation rate and increase achievement rate through quality distance education. Republic Act 10665, an act establishing the open high school system in the Philippines and appropriating funds. It is hereby declared the policy of the state to broaden access to relevant quality education through the employment of an alternative secondary education program that will enable the youth to overcome personal, geographical, socio-economic, and physical constraints to encourage them to complete secondary education. It seeks to provide more learners access to secondary education through the open learning modalities. So Republic Act number 10665 or also known as Open High School System Act is that it creates an alternative modes of formal education program to be run by the Bureau of Secondary Education under the Department of Education. The Open High School program provides students with self-learning modules and allows them to receive education promptly and at their own pace. The nature of the Open High School System. What is the Open High School Program or OHSP? The OHSP is an alternative mode of secondary education that uses distance learning. It caters to leavers who are unable to attend the regular class program due to physical impairment, work, financial difficulties, distance of home to school, and other justifiable and legitimate reasons. So, this open high school program is an alternate secondary education teaching method that makes advantage of distance learning like online class or modular learning. This acts serves students who are unable to attend the usual class schedules like Monday to Friday class of understandable and valid reasons, including physical disabilities, work obligations, financial problems, travel distance from home to school. Therefore, this program is open to Filipino learners who can demonstrate capacity for independent learning and willing to undertake self-direct learning. Section 1. Short title. This act shall be known as the Open High School System Act. Section 2. Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared the policy of the state to broaden access to relevant quality education through the employment of an alternative secondary education program that will enable the youth to overcome personal, geographical, socioeconomic, and physical constraints to encourage them to complete secondary education. This is in line with the constitutional policy that mandates the state to encourage non-formal, informal, and indigenous learning systems, as well as self-learning, independent, and out-of-school study programs, particularly those that respond to community needs, as stated in Article 14, Section 2, Paragraph 4 of the 1987 Constitution. Section 3. Definition of terms. The terms used in this act are hereby defined as follows. A. Community advisor or tagapayong pansamahan refers to the advisor from within the community who helps the open learners harmonize their studies with community service and leisure. So, community advisor is a professional that acts as a mentor or role model for the people who live in their community. They want to encourage students' personal development while establishing a helpful and inclusive environment where students can live and learn in unity and peace. B. Learning Center refers to a room in the mother high school or other designated area where the open learners can conduct researches or gather additional information on topics under study. It can also serve as a multi-purpose area which may contain a classroom setup, a library, or a venue where the source person can conduct hands-on exercises or activities. So learning centers are areas within the classroom where students can learn about specific subjects by playing or engaging in activities that can help develop for students to work on independently at their own pace for a particular land of school tent during each school day. For example, computer lab, that is example of learning center. See, Mother High School or Inang Paaralan refers to a regular secondary school which maintains full administrative management and instructional supervision and control over one or more learning centers. So Mother High School is refers to a regulatory secondary school that maintains complete general supervision as well as classroom management and monitoring over one or more learner centers. It functions among others as first, headquarters of the open learners and open high school teachers. Second, Center for Enrollment, Evaluation, Direct or Face-to-Face Instruction and Promotion of Open Learning. Third, Receiver of the nation's instructional materials and reports relative to open learning. And fourth, Coordinator of the different learning centers in the community. Fourth, open high school teacher refers to a regular secondary school teacher of the Mother High School who is in charge of direct instruction, evaluation of the learner's progress, and keeping of the records of individual learners. So, open high school teacher it refers to a regular high school teacher at the Mother High School who is in charge of providing direct instructions, assessing the progress of students, and maintaining individual record. And fifth, open learning refers to the philosophy of learning that is learner-centered and flexible, enabling learners to learn at the time, place, and pace which satisfy their circumstances and requirements. So, open learning refers to adaptable learner-centered educational approach that enables students to take classes at the same time that suits their needs and circumstances. And sixth, source person or gurong kadluan refers to a resource person with specialized skills in practical or industrial subjects such as farming, handicrafts, auto mechanics, tailoring, and other skills. So, source person is a teacher who is a resource and has expertise in practical, including farming, crafts, and other talents. And seventh, teacher advisor or gurong tagapatnubay refers to a regular secondary school teacher of the Mother High School who serves as guidance counselor to the open learners, coordinates with the teachers in evaluating the learners' progress, and prepares and submits reports to the authorities concerned. Section 4. Establishment of the Open High School System or OHSS. The OHSS is hereby established as part of the Department of Education or DepEd Alternative Secondary Education Program to provide access to secondary education through the open learning modality. So therefore, the Open High School System is created today to provide students access secondary education through the open learning modality. And Section 5, Coverage. This act shall apply to public secondary educational institutions authorized to practice open learning through self-instructional materials, multi-channel learning, and school-family community partnership, as well as other such institutions that shall be authorized as qualified implementers of the OHSS. So the coverage of this act will be applicable to public secondary educational institutions that are authorized to implement the OHSS and authorized to continue practicing open learning through self-instructional materials. Then Section 6, Learners of the OHSS. The OHSS shall be open to all youth and adults who have finished elementary education as well as high school qualifiers of the Philippine Educational Placement Test or PEPT and the Alternative Learning System or ALS Accreditation and Equivalency A&E Test. So therefore, open high school system is that all children and adults or all people who have completed elementary school are qualified to enroll in the open high school system, and so are the high school guarantees who have passed the test like alternative learning system like ALS. And Section 7, Administration and function. The DepEd shall administer the OHSS. An OHSS unit shall be created to assist in performing the following functions. First, formulate the basic policies of the OHSS. Second, formulate, adapt, and supplement programs that ensure effectivity and productivity of the OHSS. Third, monitor and evaluate existing open learning programs for integration with the OHSS. Fourth, develop and validate prototype instructional materials for open learning. And fifth, consult and collaborate with other DepEd divisions, local government units or LGU, civil society organizations, and other private agencies for the effective operation of the OHSS. 6. Promulgate the necessary guidelines, rules, and regulations for the effective implementation of the OHSS. And 7. Recommend to the DepEd the annual budget of the OHSS for inclusion in the Annual General Appropriation Act. And 8. Perform such other tasks as may be necessary to attain the objectives of the OHSS. Section 8. Curriculum Content. The OHSS shall adopt the K-12 Enhanced Basic Education Curriculum using the standards and learning competencies of different subject areas of the program. So the K-12 Enhanced Basic Education Curriculum will be adapted by the Open High School system using the standards and learning objectives of the programs. Many subject areas like math, science, English, like they learn to read, count, and spelling. In Section 9, Personnel Recruitment and Incentives. So, the open high school teachers and teacher advisors who shall render service under the OHSS shall be enlisted from those who are currently teaching in the mother high school that is implementing the program. So, in other words, the personnel recruitment and incentives in the teacher who are already employed with a mother high school that is running the program will be recruited to serve as open high school teachers and teachers advisors. And in Section 10, Training of Teaching Staff. So the DepEd shall be responsible for the training of the open high school teachers, teacher advisors, and community advisors. So training shall be done in coordination with the LGUs and the non-government organizations concerned. So the non-teaching stakeholders such as parents and local government unit personnel who are needed to provide support to the open high school system should be trained. In Section 11, Establishment of Learning Centers. So every division of the DepEd shall establish learning centers in the authorized mother high schools located in their jurisdiction. LGUs may also take the lead in the establishment of learning centers, which shall continue to be under the authority of the recognized mother high school and a division of the DepEd. Section 12, Private Sector Participation. Private educational institutions may establish their own privately funded learning centers following the standards and criteria provided for in this Act for the OHSS, subject to the approval of the DepEd. And Section 13, Memorandum of Agreement. To ensure maximum cooperation towards the success of the OHSS, the DepEd and the Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG are encouraged to adopt a Memorandum of Agreement defining the respective rules and the operation of the OHSS pursuant to this Act. The DepEd shall encourage and promote partnership with concerned civil society organizations and other services providers in order to sustain an enabling environment for participatory planning, budgeting, and implementation of the OHSS related programs and projects. And Section 14, Appropriations. The amount necessary for the initial implementation of this Act shall be charged against the current year's appropriations of the Open High School program of the DepEd. Thereafter, the amount necessary for the continued operation of the OHSS shall be included in the DepEd's budget in the Annual General Appropriations Act. And Section 15, Implementing Rules and Regulations. Within 90 days after the effectivity of this Act, the DepEd, in consultation with the DILG, shall promulgate the rules and regulations needed for the effective implementation of this Act. Section 16, Separability Clause. If any provision of this Act is held invalid or unconstitutional, the other provisions not so declared shall remain in force and effect. Section 17, Repealing Clause. All laws, decrees, orders, rules and regulations, and other issuances or parts thereof, which are inconsistent with this Act are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 18, Effectivity Clause. This act shall take effect 15 days after its publication in the official gazette or in a newspaper of general circulation. That's all about my report. Thank you for listening.